Welcome to Big Brother Basics, where we break down the basics of Big Brother Basics. My name is Jacob Harple, and joining with me on this fine Saturday morning is the wonderful Joe Gonzalez. How are you doing, Joe?
I'm great, thanks, Jacob.
All right, and next is Aaron. Aaron, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
And finally is Keith.
It was in your contract to introduce me first.
I'm so sorry. I'm off today. I'm off. I apologize. It's because I'm so excited for week 3 of Big Brother Basics, and I just want to talk about it because I feel like this week it's the beginning of jury. Shit hit the fan. Am I right, Joe?
Yes, that fan is covered in shit.
We need to clean it up. So. Going into this week, I wasn't really sure what to expect. You know, there are all these different alliances forming. People are pairing off with who. What do you think about the overall dynamics at the beginning of this week, Keith?
You explained it pretty well. Like, there's this 6-person alliance that I think Nick created, and it's basically everybody that was outside of the Outsiders. The Outsiders are now, like, falling apart. Like, everybody's, like, trying to find their own niche. And so there were so many dynamics going into the HOH competition. I just didn't know what to expect.
Well, going into the HOH, we saw Simon take it. And Aaron, what was your initial reaction to seeing Simon win HOH? Do you think this was a good week for him to win? Did he need to prove himself in a way?
I do think it was good for him to win, and like we've been liking the power shift. So like the Outsiders having power this week was really good for them and just for us entertainment wise. Not so good for the people that we have been rooting for, and I just think it was really good for Simon, so good on him. I would have also liked the Jamila HOH, but it probably would have been less interesting had Jamila won HOH, so Simon's okay.
Yeah, so Simon has a couple of options of what he wants to do. It was learned that Matthew had actually outed the Outsiders Alliance, and that was revealed. What did you think about that move, Joe? And did you think it was
Matthew's
gonna?
move?
Yeah. Do you think it was important for Simon to think about that regarding nominations?
I mean, I know that in the back of Simon's mind, I'm sure that was always an option for him as a nominee. I think ultimately Simon made the right call with what he was going to do with his week. He made sure to, even though he's HOH, keep the target off of his back for coming weeks.
Yeah, so we saw Simon nominate Jamila and Kyle S. For nomination. Keith, what was your reaction to seeing Jamila and Kyle S. on the block? Two people that, we really enjoyed and now are kind of feeling the heat a little bit.
Yeah, like, they were in such a good position had any other person won HOH. It just goes to show, all it takes is one. All it takes is one person that can completely ruin your game. And this is the week where Kyle S. and Jamila will be tested. And
one of them didn't pass.
Well, it was just a really rough week. It was a rough week.
Definitely. And you bring up an interesting point. Like, Jamila and Kyle S. seem to have a pretty good rapport with everybody in the house, excluding Simon. And then Simon wins HOH. Aaron, do you think it's important for you to, like, where is the line drawn between trying to have somewhat a good relationship with everyone or playing the angles too much?
There's not like a line drawn. You talk to every single person in the house. Even if they don't become HOH, there are votes that need to be cast. You might need to have a specific target leave a certain week, and you might need that vote. Like, you need to always be talking to people. So making someone an outcast by not talking to them is the dumbest thing you could possibly ever do. And it's proven this week with the HOH rank. So.
We saw a lot of frustration from a lot of different people this week, mostly from Jamila. She was very upset with the situation that she was in, but she was also upset with this 6-person alliance that she had formed with Kyle S., Nick, Tom, Brandon. I guess it's only a 5-person alliance now, right?
Oh, yeah, with Chris
Scott. 5-person alliance. Joe, do you feel like Jamila was justified? Like, do you understand her frustration with her alliance for not really having her back this week?
I feel like her alliance wasn't tested enough for her to be super frustrated with her alliance, but I think she was right in feeling that type of way. Like, in my opinion, if your alliance mates don't get called for the veto, you can't be mad at them.
Right.
But it's an individual game. Everyone's trying to get to the end. your alliance can only take you so far.
Exactly.
I want to hear your opinion on that too, Keith. How did you feel about just the overall frustration between Jamila and the alliance that she had with Brandon and Tom?
It's very similar to the frustrations of the Outsiders. Like, the Outsiders kind of like had their struggles early on. They formed kind of like really quickly, and then somebody outside the Outsiders wins HOH, and so now they're struggling and trying to like figure out what they're going to do inside the house. Same thing happened to this 5-person group. They formed this alliance before the HOH competition, and lo and behold, somebody outside the alliance wins. Simon's HOH, and now that alliance is falling apart. And I think that it's kind of like we've seen this week 1, and now we've seen this week 3. And I love it when larger alliances form, then somebody outside it wins HOH. It was so fun to watch.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely made for an interesting veto. So, unfortunately, Jamil and Kyle S. don't have the best luck with that veto draw. They have no allies in there to help them. Matus grabs his second victory in the game. He becomes the first person in the game to get 2 comp wins. Are you worried about Matus with these comp wins, Aaron, or do you think that he's handling it in a way to where he shouldn't be immediately worried about having a target?
I think he's okay right now. I definitely do think if he grabs another win, then he's definitely going to be on more than one person's target list. But just the way that his social game is, the way that he handles himself with people, I don't see him being a target really soon. I mean, I can see him going up at a Final 6, Final 5 situation, and maybe even still surviving just because of all the other like outgoing people or just people who are under the radar that people are threatened by. I think there are a lot of other threats higher than Matus on the list, so I think he's still okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Matus is able to win, and at first glance, you think the rest of this week is going to be pretty straightforward. You don't really see a reason for Matus to use the veto on Jamila or Kyle S. We don't know which one is going, but you kind of assume that that's what is going to happen. But we had a few road bumps along the way, and we get into a call of Kyle S., Kyle H., Jamila, Simon, Matus, and all of a sudden there is a lot of revealing, some secrets being revealed. Jamila and Kyle S. revealed the 6-person alliance. Do you think that this was a warranted move, Joe? Because honestly, I think we can all agree that had nothing really been brought up, the veto would not have been used, and definitely Kyle S. and Jamila would have gone home. So do you think that this was right for them to kind of throw the other 3 people in their alliance under the bus?
Yes. They knew that there was a slim chance that veto was going to be used without even talking to them in the first place. So they kind of threw a Hail Mary, and it picked up.
Mm-hmm.
So getting that taken care of definitely allowed them some wiggle room to get past that veto ceremony and like save one of them. So you try to hopefully save the other. But ultimately, it just definitely feels like they kind of just ground a second wind after being defeated at the HOH competition, defeated at the veto competition, and it's kind of like a breath of fresh air.
Definitely. Yeah, I want to walk through that move because ultimately they get Matus and Simon to agree on working together, using the veto on Kyle S., and putting up Brandon. So Keith, kind of walk me through how Brandon became the person that ultimately found his way on the block at the veto ceremony.
Sure. So Brandon was very comfortable in the game, and Jamila and Kyle S. picked up on it. Jamila was very frustrated at Brandon's exact words, which were, "I hope I don't get selected so I don't have to choose whether to or to not use the veto." And so when you say that to an alliance member, that's some red flags because, like, if we're working together, then you should use the veto on me, right? And so whenever she saw that he was very comfortable, I think Brandon signed up for another game. He was going to miss the veto ceremony. Like, he's feeling like, you know what, I'm going to just make it through this week. Kyle S. and Jamila is going to go home. That's fine. And to Kyle S. and Jamila, they're like, all right, well, if we're going to be like, if you're fine with one of us going home, then we're fine with you being like the replacement. Mm-hmm. And so they threw Brandon under the bus. I didn't really think it was going to work. I was sitting there on Skype. I was watching that Skype call, but like, just it seemed like it's getting 30 minutes closer to the ceremony, 15 minutes closer to the ceremony, and it seems like it's a legitimate plan, and I'm like freaking out because Brandon's telling me that he can't make the ceremony. I was like, make the ceremony, bro! Like, I need you to be there.
Yeah.
So Brandon ended up being the target, and it was a really, really, in my opinion, great play from Kyle S. and Jamila. They are a known pair inside the game. And if you want to save your pair, you're going to have to do some crazy stuff. Nobody else was going to do it for them. They were fine with either one of them going home, so they worked with people that they were originally ostracizing from that group. And I think they made a really, really great play. And the fact that they were able to get Simon and Matus on board, because they needed both, was really, really awesome to see as well. So I thought it was a great play from Jamila and Kyle S.
I completely agree. I think Kyle S. and Jamila realized that the writing was on the wall for one of them no matter what, and they did something, and they took a shot. And even though Jamila still ultimately left this week, I think there's a lot to say for a player like Jamila that she wasn't just going to lay down and die. So I think we can definitely agree that it was a good move for Kyle S. and Jamila, but I kind of want to go on the other side and start talking about this move for Simon and Simon's HOH week, because Aaron, I know you and I talked a little bit about how ultimately this might not have been a good move for Simon. What do you think?
I don't think so. The way that I think about games in general is if you're going to take a shot at somebody, you have to knock one of them out. You can't take a shot at Jamila and Kyle S. and then change it to Brandon, because even though you get information that there's a 6-person alliance, Kyle S. and Jamila still are only about Kyle S. and Jamila. They'll do the same thing to you later on. So I don't think it was really that good to mix those two targets. He put up 3 people. It was really messy for Simon. I mean, ultimately, Jamila leaving is okay for him. I'm totally fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of rocky with the whole Brandon staying thing, and I'm all about if you find out dirt about your alliance member and you're not gonna be working with them, I'm down for faking it,
Mm-hmm.
not showing your hands to that person. But now Brandon knows where he stands with Simon, so I just didn't think it was totally good in that respect. But I do like that Jamila and Kyle S. got him to do what they wanted.
Oh yeah, so. It was definitely a power play that almost worked. But yeah, Aaron brings up a good point, Joe. I want your opinion on it. So, if you're Simon and Matus and Kyle S. and Jamila come with you with all this information, do you almost have to take everything with a grain of salt, whether or not it is true, with the fact that they were so quick to turn in their alliance?
Well, you definitely have to see the levels of desperation that the people are at. So, I mean, it could be a fake punt. You never know. Just gonna go football.
It's not even Sunday.
Saturday.
Keep going. Yeah, I agree.
But it's definitely you do have to take it with a grain of salt, and for them to believe it at the last hour, just trying to go through this big motion of the plan, and then to see Brandon end up staying, that is what's probably going to hurt Matus and Simon the most from that play.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So Brandon goes up on the block. Obviously, he's not very happy about it. Keith, I do agree with you that
we don't know because he wasn't at the veto ceremony.
Yeah, I do agree that Brandon has gotten really, really comfortable. I think he identified where he was in the game. He knew it was a good spot, and I think I didn't know that he said that to Jamila, and that's not something you should say to an ally, especially one like Jamila, who you know is going to take it a certain way. But I do like the fact that he got nominated, because it definitely woke him up. I know Brandon's a really good player. He's not going to forget this. I'm glad he was able to get just as dirty as Jamila when screenshots were being thrown out.
Yeah.
He had an ace up his sleeve. Tell us about that, Keith. I really want to.
It was really awesome. So I know that Jamila and Kyle S. are new to the game, so they started, we could send screenshots, so that's our form of proof. And we played these games for a while. Screenshots are kind of if you have to do it, for me, I prefer people that are able to form arguments in order to change my decisions rather than showing me some proof. That actually, for me, is a weak play. But this is their first org. They're sharing screenshots left and right. Look, I'm part of this chat. Take a look at it. And so Brandon, being the experienced org player that he is, I thought it was really, really fitting for him to be oh, so you're going to come at me with screenshots? Well, I'm going to come at you 10 times harder with video recordings of you saying derogatory things to Simon, and I'm going to show that to Simon as well. And so when Simon saw that completely, changed it, because if you see some of the things that Jamila was saying about Simon, it is very, very hurtful to watch. And if it's directed at you, like it's targeted language to Simon specifically. It's hurtful to see that, regardless if you like weren't working together at the time or not. So I think Simon, seeing that Jamila was really never going to work with him, thought really lowly of Simon. I think it was fitting for him to change his mind from like doing a crazy backdoor plan for Brandon to like, okay, like this chick never really like liked me and like she can go.
Do you think that was the move that swung it back to Jamila going home? That move particularly?
Yes, and I'm glad that Brandon didn't like lay over and die, because I thought he was going to initially too, because he was like so frustrated. He was like backdoored. He didn't really see it coming, and he has no hope. Like Simon was like, I got the votes. Like there's nothing you can do. But Brandon still played to the very end. And you know what? Jamila played to the very end as well. Like, they were both going ham. This was a very draining week for so many house guests. I saw so many DRs where Brandon's like, I am just tired. Like, I don't think I have anything else. Like, I've been saying the same arguments to the same 4 people over and over again. I like, it's all out of me. Jamila was playing all the way up to the eviction ceremonies, like, doing the same thing, saying the same arguments. And it's just really, really awesome to see them like put this much effort into wanting to stay into the game, and it's really sad because Brandon and Jamila like were putting so much in the game that one of them had to go.
Yeah, it definitely sucks because it's always really refreshing as hosts to see, you know, people do not want to go home, especially in the pre-juror saga where I feel like we had a lot of people kind of, oh, well, I'm ready to go, blah, 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 blah. And it's just nice to be like, the people that are here now, they want to be here, they want to win. And I think we're seeing a lot of gameplay and a lot of fingers on the table. So Jamila leaves in a 4-2 vote. The 2 people voting to keep her are Nick and Kyle S., obviously. Where do you think the state of the house, what state is the house in now with Jamila almost staying, and then now she left? There's really no concrete sides anymore because all of them just keep getting screenshotted and thrown out into, you know, public knowledge. What do you think the state of the house is right now, Joe?
I think that we're kind of like in overtime right now. First person to score this next HOH is going to win. But really, I think that we're at a point where no one's feeling super comfortable. Everyone is kind of doubtful of what can happen regardless of who wins HOH. And I think that's really awesome, considering we're in the jury phase. The first juror was very active and very gung-ho about wanting to stay. And I definitely feel like there's going to be a mad scramble for the power. I don't think there's going to be a lot of throwing going on for a while.
No, definitely. I think the house is definitely in a state of chaos. And, you know, so many people that we do think are in good positions, in their mind are saying, oh my God, I am not in a good position, just because there's no security anymore. And I think that really is going to make the rest of this season very, very gritty, very, very who wants it the most, and that's really all you could ask for. So going into this final 8 HOH, I kind of want to know who you guys are almost, you know, rooting for to see win this HOH and why. So Aaron, I want to go ahead and start with you. Who would you like to see win this final 8 HOH?
I have 2 people. Sorry, but that's against the rules.
Stop the episode.
One being Nick, because Nick doesn't know what's going on. Nick seems like out of everybody, he seems like he's just the most like what's going on? And he's been through some stuff. He's had a tough couple of weeks. So I think his HOH reign would be a mess. He'd be nominating people just for everywhere. So that'd be a good one. And also Kyle S. And that would be for the, you know, power shift value of it. He's been through something this last week, and I think him being in power would really shift it to where people were now have to come to him for safety, and maybe he'd be able to make some deals and get himself in a little bit better position than he is right now. So those are my 2.
What about you, Keith?
Yeah, like, just because the house is in such disarray, like, I would be fine with almost anybody winning HOH and just seeing what they would do in this situation, because, like, it is just it's like a bomb was dropped, and now people are just kind of, like, walking around figuring out, where's my laundry? Like, just trying to figure out themselves what's going on. So, yeah, like, and what's also crazy is that, like, Simon, I don't even think he's in that bad of a position. He's the one that created, like, the bomb drop, and, like, he's coming out this week pretty unscathed. And I think it's because Brandon and Jamila weren't supposed to know who was going to stay or go until like maybe Final 5. And the fact that they know right now at Final 9 really messed up the dynamics of the house.
So who would you like to see?
Like going back to the original question. No, like I think I'm fine with anybody.
Anyone?
Like literally anybody winning HOH. I'm not really particularly rooting for or against any. There's pros and cons for a lot of people winning HOH. Do I want another Outsiders HOH reign? Do I want somebody inside the game that hasn't been tested to still like win HOH and be in power? Do I want somebody like Kyle S to like who's in the bottom and win an HOH reign and like form something else? Do I want somebody like Nick? Like so, there's so many different options, and I just don't care. I'd be satisfied with anybody.
Okay. Cool. How about you, Joe?
I 100%, now that I've thought about it all morning, is that I want to see a Kyle S. HOH reign because he really doesn't have many loyalties that he has to keep right now because he's got Broken Alliance here, he's got Jamila just left after these guys said they were going to keep her, and so like he could do anything. Nobody's safe under a Kyle S. HOH reign, I think.
I agree. I think I would be most excited for Kyle S. HOH just because I really like Kyle S. and I think he's a good player. And I think if he doesn't win HOH this week, he could be an easy option for a lot of people. So he's definitely in danger. And I would really like to see him win an HOH and kind of get that, revenge, but also try and reintegrate himself back into the house through an HOH reign. I also wouldn't mind a Brandon HOH. I don't think he needs it. I think it's better for his game if he doesn't, but I would just be really interested to see how he acted during an HOH and, see if he waves his finger in front of anybody's faces for putting him up.
Simon.
So it should be interesting. I think it's going to be a really crazy week regardless. Final 8, there's really nowhere to hide anymore. Anything you guys want to talk about before we wrap up?
I knew Matthew was going to spill the alliance, that's all.
You called it.
Called it.
You called
He
it
needed
to see it.
He needed to.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed week 3. And, stay basic. Pew, 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 pew. Basic. Basic.